What's up, Mystic Manifesting family? Nick with Mystic Manifesting here. And today, what you seek, you will find. Look at that. I'm already back in the groove of making videos. Part two. And we're going to post this one the next day because I just said what you seek, you find at the end of the last video. And I'll start this one like that, right? So have it in chronological order, even though you're not going to fucking know because if this is the first video you see, it doesn't matter. But anyway, we're going to say what you seek, you find. Now, this is a very simple thing. It could probably be a 1 minute video, but I know you guys like to listen to me ramble. I've got a lot of amazing, whimsical metaphors that I could tell you to maybe help this stick in your head, or maybe you could just listen to me for 10 minutes, repeat the same thing again and again in 2 to 3 or 4 different ways, so that way you remember what you seek, you find. Pair this with the idea that I was talking about in the last video. The world is a mirror. If you think that you're a piece of shit and garbage and the worst human being in the world and everybody hates you and you're constantly being judged and you're a weirdo and blah, 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 how's the world going to treat you? You could take a guess, but it's probably self evident. You're going to be treated like garbage. And we have my favorite example, which was a guy I used to hang out with. Always expected everything bad to happen to him. He was in victim mentality constantly and wondered why no women wanted to hang out with him. All the guys were annoyed when he would show up at the group. Why nobody wanted to hire him for a job, why he couldn't last at a job for a certain amount of time. It's because he had this presence of negativity. Dark, looming, horrible things are coming down on top of him. And the world treated him as that. Even when he showed up and tried to put his best face forward, it was fake. Because you could, we always talk about fake it till you make it, be delusional, stuff like that, right? Within reason. You're delusional in your own mind. Don't go out saying a bunch of crazy shit, right? We're deluding ourselves by removing needing to have our senses tell us what the world is and go by our inner imagination, as within so without, right? Same principle. As the world is a mirror, as within so without, what you see, what you find. I'm gonna keep repeating this shit till it sticks in your head. Anyway, the world's gonna treat you the way you expect to be treated. And like I said, this guy was always treated horribly, got rejected by every girl. And I'll tell you this, I remember this one story sticks out with him. Smoking hot girl comes up to him after a rave, and we were all at a bar. She's talking to him, and he's drunk. So when you're drunk, you're in a better mood and stuff like that. But his core belief is still there. You could fake it by being externally confident, externally the guy that needs to be. You could read every book, and you could put on an act, but you don't believe the act. It's like becoming a method actor. We are the actors. The world is a stage, and we're all actors in the play. He was playing the part, but he wasn't a good actor. He wasn't method acting. He didn't feel that he was really that guy. And that will only get you so far because you'll probably self-sabotage yourself. And I remember the girl's flirting with him. Another guy was wingmanning him. He's like, he's actually doing it. And then we see and it's loud. So he turns around and he goes like, no. And then they come back and he's like, she wasn't interested. And then he's got his beer and he just keeps drinking. And the other guy's like, dude, she came up and she's like flirting with them, this and that. And then he goes, oh, you wouldn't like me. And she goes, oh, try me or whatever. Like, I don't remember the exact conversation, but she's like still trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Like she knows she's hot, but she's fucked up and she's going to fuck whoever she sees, whatever. That was, you know how the raves are. I've never been to one. I don't go to raves, but the premise of raves are women are half naked and on quaaludes or whatever drugs they're on, and they're going to fuck whoever they see. And maybe this balding man with an extreme aura of depression looked appetizing to her that night. Well, she kept trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, and he goes, you wouldn't like me because I'm a loser. And she goes, oh, okay, and then walks away. So it's like he was seeking truly in his deep core being to be rejected. Despite what he says and how he was acting, his inner core pushed out and made sure that he was not able to secure the bag. So he fumbled it. Anyway, let's switch over to a more positive version of that. What you seek is what you find. So, okay, when I just told this story in the last video, but we'll continue on this again. I wanted to move to a day shift position. I was qualified for it. The promotion was mine through the right of the union, through the right of tradition, through the right of the building contract. I was supposed to go to the day shift. That was my promotion. And I had this story that I had built up that the boss didn't like me and he was going to do whatever he could to fuck me out of it. Well, if you've been around the channel, you know the story. He hires his friend. But I just kept the thought that no matter if it's one man or a million, no one can stand in my way. I always get my desire. That's a line I took from Neville. Everybody will play their part. So anyway, this dude quits after 2 weeks. And what I did was I was seeking reasons. And it's almost like the thought process where I say it's all working out in your favor, kind of puts it in your head where you're asking, instead of how is this going to happen in a negative way, where you're like, I'm in this position. How am I going to get out of this? Instead of how am I going to get out of this, which indicates you're already in something bad, you're coming from the state of mind that how is this working out in my favor? So already, no matter what it is, it's a good situation. And how is it going to get better? So it's an ugly, bad situation I don't want to be in. How does it get better from here? And I was like, I saw this guy getting angry and upset with the boss. I'm like, even though they're friends, I'm like, he's going to leave this place. He's got enough of this guy. There's going to be a fight soon. There's going to be a fight soon. I kept thinking that within the first week, there's a fight. And then I'm like, I'm going to become this guy's friend and I'm going to get the information. I kept thinking about that. Next thing, the guy is like gossiping against some guy he's known for 30, 40 years. And then next thing you know, the dude's like, all right, I'm out. Like right before I left, I was going on vacation that week. He goes, when you come back from vacation, I think you'll have good news. And I knew what it meant. He was leaving. I come back and I ask, can I go to the shift? Still thinking that I had the thought though, even after all that, he's not going to give it to me. Denied it to me again. So no matter if it's one man or a million, I will get whatever I want. They hire another guy. He's lazy. I see it off the bat. Nobody thinks that. And I'm like, man, no one's listening to me. It's me trying to control the situation, telling the bosses, this guy's lazy. He's a piece of shit. He's leaving me all his work. And I'm trying really hard. And everything I keep thinking is they're going to think I'm lazy. They're going to think, and no matter how much work I did, I was still seen as lazy, a piece of shit, this and that, because that's what I assumed they were going to say about me. And I assumed they were going to glorify this guy, and they were glorifying him. But then I'm like, I took the one good thing, which was the other guy who we worked with said, this dude's a lazy motherfucker. So I took what he said, and it's like they respect that guy more. And that's my assumption there. So how can I work with that assumption? And it was like, okay, they're going to work with, he's going to start saying stuff now. So then we're both saying stuff, and then it's like it's getting rejected. And it's like, no, no, no. No matter if it's one man or a million, go down the line. Like I said, after 3 months probation, if you're in a union, it's really hard, almost impossible to fire a motherfucker. The last week, maybe 2 weeks, I believe it was the last week, before he gets his 3 months, he fucks up so bad leading up to it 3 times, and no write up, no nothing. Like he keeps getting away with murder. Like this dude, now the bosses are seeing he's a fuck up. Now it's like in their faces, and it's like everything's manifesting. But I'm like, I didn't even know that the 3 months was coming up, to be honest. I just knew I was going to that position. Gets himself fired. And then I don't ask. This time I'm like, don't ask because you're trying to play with the 3D. They're going to tell it to you. And I'm like, and I started thinking, I'm like, I don't know why, but I'm like, the boss's wife, well, I'd only seen her once, never even heard her talk. And I know they didn't like each other, but I'm like, they're going to have a conversation about why am I not getting that promotion. And I guess one day he went home and vented, and she told him that you should give it to Nick, and that's not fair, and blah, blah, blah. And he told me the one day, and I knew when he was coming to talk to me that that was what it was going to be, because I was expecting it, just like I was excited and expecting him to tell me something that I already knew, which relates back to the other video. We're expecting good things. He goes, I'm going to give you the promotion, but we're going to hire someone else, and so they're going to be on day shift for a while, then you could come to days. Okay, cool. And then it was taking so long, and it was going to be over a year, and it was like, it was just a way to fuck me around, and like I kept getting angrier and losing my mental focus. And I'm like, you know what, no matter if it's one man or a million, I'm going to get there. I had this opportunity to put out for jobs. I put out for jobs, and to get this in at my age and stuff like that, it's very rare. But along the lines, I wind up getting a call from a place on the same street with $1 an hour more, free parking, no clock in, no clock out, all the same perks that I had at the other place, and way less work. And where did I wind up? I wound up there. Easy job. It was like better than I could have expected, which is the thing where I kind of talk about people with their specific person or their ex or whatever. I want to manifest back my ex, blah, blah, blah. Why? And this is kind of a point that I'm developing a little bit of it, It's like sometimes it's hard, when you hear stuff about like, and I don't want to discourage anyone if you want to manifest back your ex. I mean, I've done it like when I'm in a relationship with my ex. So um, if you want to do it, it's not wrong. But imagine better than the best. I believe that was one of Neville's lines. Imagine better than the best. So if you think you have the best, it could still be better. That would be amazing if it was better. So if you got a better opportunity or a better relationship somewhere else, are you going to beat yourself up and feel like a failure? Because sometimes the success, what we're seeking, doesn't come to us in the way it exactly looks like. And I tell the story about Tom Platz, the bodybuilder, the one who was judging that competition I did. He said that he never became Mr. Olympia. For 10 years he tried. He trained hard. He visualized. He had a trophy cabinet built for his trophy, and he was doing everything a manifester would. And it never happened. He never got the trophy. He never won the title. Fast forward now, I would say in the bodybuilding community, out of all the surviving guys who've lived from his era, he is treated like, they call him a legend. They call him bodybuilding royalty. They call him one of the originals. And he's still around with Arnold. And Arnold was the guy who kept getting the Olympias. He was number one. But over time, everything this guy was aiming for, he's treated like a Mr. Olympia. He never had the title, but he's respected just as much. He made a career and a living off of doing guest posing and stuff like that. All the stuff that you usually give to the champion. It was his story, his attitude, his ability to like project himself. And he's big into manifesting too. I talked to him for 2 hours after the show, and it was like his mindset is. I have his email, and I know he's busy. He's going on a little bit of a podcast tour, so I'm trying to get a hold of him to get him on an episode with us. That's one of my visualizations. But it's like he's just he got what he wanted, and he was seeking. But sometimes you don't realize that you've achieved it because it comes in a way that you wouldn't expect, and sometimes it comes so perfectly you don't even expect it. So it's hard. It's like you're expecting greatness and it comes to you, but you don't realize it until way later. Sometimes you can't see things going forward. You can only see them looking back. And it's like, man, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be here. That's why I say I never regret the pain and suffering or bad things I've gone through, because the bad things made me into the man I am now. I always say if I could go back in time, I would never change any of the bad things that happened because I wouldn't have learned the lessons. Sometimes you don't learn a lesson until you go through something bad. The pain and the regrets and all that stuff trains you to be better the next time around, which is why I go back to you can't fuck this up. Life works in cycles. You will always have another opportunity to fix something. There's no reason to ever beat yourself up or stay down. There's always a reason to go on. There's always another chance coming, and everything is a bridge. It's all unfolding in your favor. Don't judge a bridge before it unfolds. That's what I always say. You never know. It could take that really negative thing to happen to become the positive outcome that you wanted. Like in Tom's story, it took his story of almost tragedy in the sport of like that it was robbed from the title was robbed from him in 81. And it's like that should have been his year. And he went through relationship stuff. And it's like, but the fact he kept standing and getting up and trying, he built that hope. And it's like there's a Bible quote, and I have it as my screensaver, so I should probably remember, but I believe it's in Romans. And it talks about to endure suffering. When you're enduring suffering and going through it, it's a good thing because suffering leads to, I'm going to fucking butcher this whole thing right now, but basically the end of suffering, it transmutes into you're learning and you're going through this and you're becoming the best version of yourself. And fuck, I should probably have prepared for this, but the end of it is hope. If I didn't go through all the bad things I did with my SP, would any of you be able to draw hope from my story? I had to go through hell and back. I had to lose the SP and regain it multiple times to have a story that stuck out where you could have hope. Where even the people, it's like the people who've manifested their SP back and think it's impossible to do it 2 or 3 or 4 times. That's where I got the idea of, I wouldn't have thought maybe that you get infinite possibilities. And it was my experience that I went through that taught me that. That's why I don't regret any of the bad stuff. Now this video's spiraled way off from what you seek, you find, but I think that it flowed well away from it, flowed in a beautiful river away from the main topic. But if you could draw the line and connect those dots, that whatever you're expecting and looking for, you will find. I was expecting and looking for a day shift position. I wound up on day shift, but it didn't come from the building I was at. It wound up being at a better building and an easier job with better people. Tom was searching to be Mr. Olympia. He got everything that came with Mr. Olympia, but not the title. But he's seen as something even better. I would rather be bodybuilding legend or royalty than Mr. Olympia. That's a more prestigious title, I think, and it was a more full of longevity, long-lasting outcome versus the Olympia, where it's like you're only hot for the minute that you got that title, and the next year you got to get it again or someone else got it. He outlasted all that. Oh, the video paused for a second, so all right, it's still going. We're on 15 minutes, and then final point is the other guy sought failure, and he was met with failure so many times. So what you seek, you will find. So I think I wrapped that up nicely, put a nice bow on it, take it home. Yesterday's the past, future's a mystery. Right now is a gift. Why we call it the present. Master Uruguay. All right, I think I gave you that nice present moment gift perfectly. If you want coaching, this is still September till the end of September. Instead of the 150 an hour, it's 100 even for the hour of coaching with me. I'm working on getting the website up. There's links to the Discord if you want to contact me. There's the email. I'm on Instagram. It's not hard to find me. I'm around. What you seek, you will find. You seek me, you will find me, right? But as always, you can't fuck this up. It's all working out in your favor, and I love you guys very much. I'll see you in the next video or the next live.